I think we're rolling. Good morning, everybody. This is the first podcast that I'm going to do. Um, well, I don't know what to do now. I guess didn't think this through. Um, I guess I should just tell some stories that I had as a kid. Because either way, I don't want to bore you all. Um, Starting off with one story. I remember when I was little. When I was little, I used to live in New York City, and I would say that would be a good place to live because, well, yeah, I mean it is crowded, but it does have tons of fun places where you can go. Um, I remember that I used to go to like Times Square, Central Park, and other places. When I was little, I was very stupid. I as well have the mental capacity of a walnut when I was little. And I know you're saying that, well, I mean, kids are always dumb and I mean, you are right, but I probably was been more dumber than anyone when I was little. Um, my first story is that when I was mm, when I was little, I had a Game Boy. Well, I had a Game Boy. Um, I don't want to say every single time. I had a Game Boy Advance SP. It was red. Well, I don't know if it was the first game that I got, but it was like a red Game Boy SP. When I was little, one day I played with it. My mother left me alone because I had to go take a bath. Somehow I secretly hid the Game Boy. I don't know where, but um, I went to the bath. I went to the bathtub, filled it with water, and threw the Game Boy right into the tub. My mother came in, I think like 10 seconds later, and she screams, "What are you doing?" And then me, stupidly, I just say, "SpongeBob." Yeah, it was an idiot. Yeah. So far, when I was little, I thought that a Game Boy looked like SpongeBob. I still hate myself for doing that. I was such an idiot. Another one, which wasn't too long ago. I think it was like 6 months. My cousins were staying with us here, and because we like when I was, I think, 9, and I had my sister, we moved out of New York City because, well, we found new jobs where we live now, which is at the mountains. I actually like it here. People always tell me if would I rather go back in to the city or stay here in the mountains. I always say stay in the mountains because it's so beautiful every day. I mean, you can get tons of good photos here, and, well, I mean, it isn't crowded as well. But there are some things that would kind of make me go back to New York City. Um, all right, back to the story. So, I'm trying to think of one. Oh yeah. So when our cousins were staying here, um, they brought their grandparents, they brought their parents, and basically everything. They were staying for the weekend. Um, it was actually pretty cool to see them again. But this time, instead of meeting them back in New York City, they actually meet us where we live. And we had to like clean everywhere. So it would be spotless and they wouldn't judge us for making it look like a pig house. Um, so I think day 2 where they were staying. Um, their parents were going out and making s'mores because, well, just because. And I think um, our cousins had like a baby. Well, not a baby, but like a little kid. Um, and well, they had three brothers, and two of them decided to go up in our attic. By the way, the attic is where I actually play some games. Like, if you tell me where would I actually play the games, I would say up in the attic because one, it doesn't get too noisy here. Two, most of my games are up here, and three, it's just quieter. But it does have the worst internet here. And by the way, they went up and they wrestled. I don't know why. They just thought it was a good idea for them to wrestle. And me being a small brain, because I am, I didn't want to look because I just wanted to do something, but so far there was nothing else to do. And when they were wrestling, uh, the only thing you could hear upstairs was like um them fighting. It was the sounded mostly like this, and I laughed so hard. I laughed so hard. Their grandparents were like, "Why is he laughing so much?" They actually didn't even know that they were fighting. Um, then my sister was like, "What's going on?" And then I tell her, "Hold on, close your eyes and listen." And she also laughed. But like unlike me, she went upstairs, and she was like the referee for the wrestling match. I put that in quotations very hardly, and I think after like 30 minutes, I heard the little brother say, "I want to do a round two," and then oh god, that's so bad, but it's so funny too. Okay, back to me. Um, when I was living in the city, I used to be very angry. Well, yeah, I was very angry and restless because, well, I have like this gigantic book that has tons of my baby pictures, and almost like all of them have me frowning. I mean, yeah, I mean, as you can tell, I'm frowning right now, but I must have been so angry when I was a kid. I don't know what made me so angry. It's just weird to know that, when you were little, you just get very angry. Um, I'm trying to think of more to say. When, when I was like little, um, most of these, stories were told by my mother, and, I vividly remember, well, no, she told me that, when I was little, we used to go to a park, and, well, it was like a park for dogs, and as you would know, there would be tons of dogs. Um, my mother knew this person who, well, no, she didn't know this person, but she always sometimes walk to a person, say hi, and their dog would always like sniff me. Weird thing is that that when I was little, I was afraid of dogs. Even though to this day I love dogs, they're so cute. I don't know what made me scared of them. Um, when I was well, like I don't know what made me got scared. Was it like I think it was like when they get so close to you, they have to like lick you. I don't know what made me so scared. Uh, another one that there was one story that I very vividly that I can't English right now, that I remember about me is like it's kind of like a school story. When I was little, we always had like a PE time, and we had like this little like hot potato stuffed plushie. Well, it was kind of like a toy. And when I was little, I hated hot potato. I even like sit down to like get away from the game because I actually thought that the stuffed animal would burn my fingers. And weird thing is that one day I decided to actually play it, but however, um, and me stupidly, I actually thought it was gonna burn my hands, but then I was like, "Whoa, this thing didn't actually burn me!" But then I never played it again. It was so stupid. Another one that another story that I remember is that uh I'm trying to think of more. Yes, right now I'm pea brain right now. I'm not big brain right now. Um, hmm. Oh yeah, there was this one time where my mother got a DS for me. Well, no, not a DS, a 3DS for me. It was like a blue. And when I was little, I never even played it. I was just like keep throwing it onto the wall, and sure enough, I broke the hinge of the 3DS. So then I had to go. We had to go get a case. Um, but then that also didn't work, so we just threw it away. Um, why didn't I repair? Why didn't they repair it? You ask. We were poor, like always. I remember that story as it was like yesterday. I was such an idiot. When I was little, my mother went to a pharmacy, and she had to bring me as well, for some reason. She had tons of cards in her hand, and we were in a line. I somehow got out of my. Mm, I somehow got away. Went somewhere, and I came back. I don't know what happened, but I think I fell down or something, or I pushed her, and that made her fall down and drop all of her cards. Thankfully, people were there to help her, but then again, people would be like, oh, Why is this person falling down?" Oh, wobbly legs. But I am such a bad person. There was one that I know. Uh, I remember one time when our cousins lived somewhere, and I don't want them to. And someone's texting me right now. But when I was little, I had this when I was little, I had this cousin who got a Wii U. Well, not a Wii U, just a Wii. And I don't know. My parents decided that like they could babysit for me, and I actually wanted to play Wii with them. So we played Wii boxing. I ended up getting beaten up, and the best thing for me is just to cry. Mostly all of these just have me crying. It's just pretty bad. Let me think of more that I know. I'm trying to think of more that would be funny. I have more stories, but they're mostly like very serious. One of them was like somehow I got very sick, like I ended up barfing, and they had to cut some sort of like organ from me, and I don't know what kind of organ it was. I don't remember. Um, but yeah, that was yeah. I don't think I should have said that. um, I don't know. I can't. I'm trying to think of more. Uh, I'm trying. Well, I mean that's it. It's not funny, but one of them is one story I have is that when I lived in an apartment, there was this person who just came up. I don't know if my mother knew her, and this woman brought her daughter. I think she was like the same age of me, and we had like a very fun um, time. We actually played Wii U, played Nintendo Land. We actually could have been best friends if we actually knew how to contact each other. But but then again, we also never never knew how to actually. We didn't actually know each other, so I don't know. I don't know who she was. I still don't remember. Um, yeah, that's all I have to say. I just keep. I remember Christmas. One Christmas, my one of my wish list things was a Wii U, and I think I owned a Wii, but for some reason my parents had like two PlayStation 2 games, and I also told my mother why did we have those games, and she says that like my father thought that he had a game that not a Game Boy, a PlayStation 2, and he could use those games to play. I don't. Well, I don't know because first of all, I don't remember getting those games, and two, I also don't remember having a PlayStation as well. As you can tell, I'm not a PlayStation guy. I'm more of a Nintendo fan. Um, what should I say? I'm trying to think of more. um, there was I think I should just tell more stories, not of me like when I was little, but more just stories. Um, I think when I was 12, it might have been last year, before the quarantine, all that stuff. Um, we saw our cousins for like a week, and it was actually pretty fun to see them again. And we could actually stay home. I mean, where we used to live for 1 week. Well, we didn't live in an old apartment. I don't know whatever happened to it. I think there was new people who moved in, and but they lived in another apartment. Um, I remember the 1 week I had to eat the same food every single day because our cousins never cooked anything. Well, they kind of did, but then again, they kind of don't. And every time every time they told me, "Do you want the same food again?" I told my parents, "No, I'm fine. I think I just ate that already." But no, they insisted that I should eat the same thing. And that was also the week that we got lost in New York City. I think I should also tell a story. So, we were going to our cousin's, our aunt, whatever you say it, apartment. She lives in Brooklyn. Um, we took a train there, and we tried to go back. However, the stop that we were going to go wasn't there, and I don't know why. So we stayed at the train for every single stop that they made, and they never went to our stop. So then our parents told them, uh, why can't they go to this stop? And I didn't listen, so I just looked around. And we actually didn't know how to get back. However, that was also the time I actually helped my parents that much because I actually found out a way to um get us out of here. So I decided we should take one train that actually goes to to our stop, and then stop there, and then we can go back home. And then my parents are like, "That's a dumb idea," but they do it anyways. I also had like I also like felt like very nauseous when I was on the train because I think I rode the train like at least um 10 times that day. Not including like every single day. That was for like that one day. How much like the average that I went for one day I think it was like 1 or 0. On the, and then I think like 7 months, like 1 month before our cousins um visited us, we visited them because we had our aunt and had a gigantic party for their kid. We stayed at a hotel. I had to sleep with my sister, and she doesn't like me because I always annoy her for some reason. And I remember I just moved I think I didn't even move. I think I only moved like half a centimeter, and then my sister's like, "Stop shaking the bed," and I tell her, "What do you mean shaking the bed? I just moved like that much," and and then she never yelled again. I still make fun of her of that. And speaking of the party that we went, I that took so long. I mean, I didn't even know it was classified for a party. We had to go to the party because our cousins invited us, and my father thought it was a good opportunity for him to make me dance. And this is how he made me dance. If I dance in front of everyone or with one of my cousins, I get a game. And me stupidly, I did it. This isn't the first time my father actually did something like that. When our grandparents moved here for like a month, my father also told me you also have to keep them like they live here so you can get a game. That after that 1 month, I told him about it. Well, I didn't tell him, but my sister told me, and he was like, I don't remember saying that. But if my kids say I do, then I guess we have to do it. And he did. I actually had to dance 3 times. Actually, 4 times. Now that I think about it. After the party was over, there was like this weird. I don't even know if it was like the same party. It was getting very late. I think we stayed up at like 2, and I was getting restless. I was like so tired. So we decided to get out of the party and call a taxi. But it also took so long for the taxi to come. I don't know why. But thankfully, the taxi came in and brought us back to the hotel when we went back to sleep. My sister was sleeping in the car ride, well, taxi ride if you would say it. And when we actually got to the hotel entrance, I she was still sleeping. I think she was snoring as well. and I had to shake her and say, "Wake up!" The driver was also just looking at her. Oh my god. The next day, we actually did get a game. It was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and it was actually kind of it's actually kind of weird to know that when you're a little that you when you were a little kid you used to be like, sad, angry, happy, and then when you're older you're like the opposite. Well, sometimes not the opposite, because we know that that's not true. That's not true. Speaking of which, when I was little, I was very little. I'm not even saying like your average baby height. I was little. Um, my clothes. Well, actually, the day when I told my mother about some stories, she actually found one pair of my clothes, and it actually looked like it was used for a bait for like some sort of doll. And I was like, that can't be real. Oh, but then she says, "Oh, it's real. It's real." And it's kind of weird because I'm actually taller than my family. Yeah, even when I was when we visited our cousins to New York City, I was actually taller than almost everyone. I was going to say everyone, but then um there are some of our cousins are also taller than me. So I guess I am not the tallest. Well, that sucks. um, I don't know if those like messages will show up in this, but yeah, I think that's all I have to say because I don't want to drag this too long. I think this would be a good thing for me to do every Tuesdays. Why I'm not gonna do a live stream? Well, because the first one sucked. It was terrible. Jeez. I'm trying to figure out a way to actually make it like somehow average, and I might actually do a live stream someday, but I guess we'll have to wait. So I guess that's all I'd have to say. Um, I'll see you guys soon.